Good morning. Welcome to your program Agenda here on One News, care of Cignal TV. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, thanking you for joining us this morning once again, and thanking you for being subscribers of Cignal TV, as well as viewers via Facebook and YouTube and the Cignal Play app. Maraming salamat po, especially to PLDT for their home fiber optic internet, and Marco Borlongan. Sir Marco, good morning to you. Thank you for all the time you assisted us. Now, some of you may have observed that there were some disruptions yesterday, particularly those who are Google hungry, those who do a lot of stuff on the internet. And from what I gathered, it was a submarine cable interruption. Yung mga conspiracy theorists nagsabi na kagad, baka naman sinusuyod ng mga Chinese vessel yung submarine cable. Wag naman po. We are all back. We're all good. And I do hope you are also doing well. That's really my prayer for all our viewers, many people out there, that your day will go well today. Okay, let's go with our daily starter, because today we have two guests speaking on two topics of concern. One is a regular here on Agenda who will speak to us about the potential outcome, or what will be the good or the bad coming with the announcement of the DA that there is now a vaccine. May bakuna na para sa African Swine Fever. So many of us magbababoy can once again go back to taking care of our pet pigs. Yung iba pet, yung iba kain. Ako po vegetarian na. Anyway, I do hope that it stabilizes our hog industry. The subject that follows after that will be on a study that came out just the other day that showed or revealed that rental for offices, particularly headquarters in the Philippines, for companies based abroad who are putting up branches here, the Philippines turns out to be the third highest. Third highest. Ang lupit, parang mas mahal pa raw tayo doon sa ibang mas progressive countries in the region. So we will discuss that study, find out what effects it has on business and economy. Let's go now to our daily starter. And our daily starter is quite short, but something worth considering and reflecting on. It is from Paulo Coelho. Travel is never a matter of money, but of courage. Okay, travel is never a matter of money, but of courage. A lot of people will tell you, I don't have money, kanya hindi ako makabiyahe, I can't move or go there or go wherever because they don't have the money. What the author is suggesting is it's really not about money, because if it were about money, we could all save for it. I know people back in our college days who would actually borrow money just to be able to take part in some organized trip. So kung biyahe lang ang pinag-uusapan and pera lang ang pinag-uusapan, madaling gawa ng paraan. But apparently, half of the problem is we're afraid. We're afraid to leave our jobs for a vacation. We're afraid to spend money because something else might come up. we're afraid that we might not enjoy ourselves, etc. So it is compounded by fear, not by money. Okay, let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star. Quick review, and if you want in-depth, in-depth view of the news, please go get a copy. But the headline today: new DND DOH chiefs named. Okay, we now have new, old, new. Parang kasal something old, something new. Okay, the new Chief Secretary of Department of National Defense is none other than Secretary Gilbert Teodoro. Okay, so he used to be Secretary of Defense before under the Arroyo administration, and now he's back in the same chair. And for DOH, we have Dr. Teodoro Herbosa. Okay. And at the top of the front page, we have alert level 2, excuse me, raised over Mayon. Taal volcano being monitored as well. Actually, this was being discussed by people yesterday. Nagsasabay pa yata yung dalawa. Perhaps there is interconnectivity, okay, among volcanoes. But the PHIVOLCS is now monitoring those two volcanoes for unusual activities. Okay. Meanwhile, BBM middle name unmentionable for VP Sara. Naku po, nagka-intriga na naman. Okay, amidst report of a rift between her and Speaker Martin Romualdez, Duterte expressed yesterday her love and gratitude to President Marcos, but refused to mention his middle initial. Okay, whatever. Okay, on the right side, upper right side of the paper, you have a photo of Chris Hemsworth. Mighty Thor, the mighty Thor is in town. He arrived yesterday in Manila to promote his upcoming film, Extraction 2. Okay, magaling yan si Chris Hemsworth din sa mga combat films na yan. Anyway, Independence commemorative coins unveiled yesterday. The Independence commemorative coins for the 125th anniversary of Philippine independence and nationhood were presented at Malacanang. Meanwhile, Philippines and Israel seek to expand security and economic ties. Okay, President Marcos shakes hands with Israel Foreign Minister Eli Cohen after the signing of documents during a bilateral meeting at Malacanang yesterday. So, ayan po. Okay, everybody is lining up, headed to Malacanang. Meanwhile, Department of Agriculture executive faces complaint. Mukhang may demanda siyang hinaharap over sugar imports. Okay. DA Senior Undersecretary Domingo Panganiban is facing a complaint for graft and usurpation of authority over alleged illegal importation of refined sugar last February. Okay? And ayun po. And the basis for that action is that it prohibits a public official from giving unwarranted benefit, advantage, or preference to a private party. Ito yata yung mga imported sugar na hinahanapan ng permits, bidding, etc. Mukhang minadali para hindi raw magkaroon ng shortage. Anyway, U.S. destroyer, okay, in close call with China warship. Ito po, all over the international news, pininahan, okay? Muntik ng masabit, okay? A Chinese warship cut in front of a U.S. destroyer and came as close as 150 yards according to the US report, and was trying to antagonize, intimidate the US destroyer. Nako po, pagkatapos pag nabangga, kasalanan mo. Okay, yun. Okay. Meanwhile, speaking of disturbances, Pag-asa monitoring 2 weather systems outside the Philippine area of responsibility. Okay, at present, there is still a small possibility that will enter the country, but we will continue to monitor. Ayun po. And finally, that photo in the bottom, Aboitiz Group connected Women Visayan Electric Company and Sentro sa Serbisyo ug Pangi Nabuhian sign an agreement for the implementation of the Elevate AIDA program, which empowers women with skills in artificial intelligence and data analytics. Okay, so there you go. That's all the news we have here on the front page of the Philippine Star. And if you would, please get your own copy, physical copy, or go online, subscribe, because marami pong laman na balita that many of us don't hear about until you read about it. Okay, let's now go to our first topic today. And it will cover various concerns, the vaccine for ASF, the case or complaint filed against Senior Undersecretary Panganiban, and agriculture-related. So if you would, Gabriel, please roll out the Betamax to introduce our first guest.
The Bureau of Animal Industry recently announced the 100% success of the field trial on the vaccine against African Swine Fever, or ASF. BAI Assistant Director Arlene Vitiaco said the field trial for the vaccine was conducted in 6 farms in Luzon. Vitiaco said that the ASF vaccine would help the government's campaign to control the spread of the disease. Once approved by the Food and Drug Administration, the Agriculture Department is targeting to import 600,000 doses of the said vaccines this year.
Engineer Rosendo So is the president of the Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura, or Sinag. He is also the chairman of Abonong Party List.
Okay, kita nyo naman, nag-improve yung aming mga video presentation. Kasendo, morning to you!
Yeah, magandang umaga, Manong. Magandang umaga sa lahat.
Gwapong-gwapo, dating mo doon sa Betamax natin. Mukhang pinadalan mo ng hamon si Gabriel. Anyway, alam mo, medyo masaya ako. I'm smiling because I feel good for all the hog raisers in the country. Hopefully, that the vaccine that has been field tested will make an improvement. Sana naman magkatotoo, bagamat sabi nga raw nila 600 pesos per shot, nako po, ang dami-dami namang baboy na nalibing, baka makatulong. What are your sentiments? Anong feeling mo dito, Kasendo?
Yeah, of course ang sa atin is a positive sign nito magkaroon ng vaccine at makatulong sa atin hog industry, and ito is magandang sign ito na may joint effort ang atin Bureau of Animal Industry with some private sector to produce itong vaccine or to experiment yung vaccine. Pero Sito, ang isang problem na nakita lang natin is yung yung nabanggit ng Bureau of Animal Industry, ito is safe sa pagturok dun sa baboy, no? Sabihin maski 10 times yung dose na ilagay is safe yung baboy. Yun ang nabanggit dun sa press nila, no? And effective test nila is after 24 yata to 25 days, may antibody sila against ASF.
Yeah.
Yun ang reported, no?
Mhm.
Pero hindi naman ang sa amin is dapat i-test sa mas palawak na area, no? Na in which yung sa may area na infected. Siguro yun ang mas magandang environment para at least makita itong vaccine ito.
So, kumbaga, lawakan yung field, yung testing area dahil right now, tinest yun sa mga farms with biosecurity, with high level of controls. So, baka yung challenge o yung hamon doon sa bakuna lower compared sa, kumbaga, pinadala mo sa gera yung bakuna na yon. And dun yung testingin kung talagang malakas o matibay. So that's a point that you are raising. But apparently, ang nakuha kong feedback yesterday na dinig ko from industry players is there is more concern about the cost. Kasi syempre nga naman, kung namamatay yung mga baboy, bakit pa ako magbababoy? Pero with the promise of the vaccine, things are hopeful. The question is the price. Tama ba yung balita namin na 600 pesos per bottle ba yun? Vial or per shot ba yun?
Yeah, may lumalabas na presyo na sinasabi between 400 to 600. Pero ako more concerned ako dun sa effectivity ng vaccine, no? Maski 1,000 pesos yan, pero kung binigay natin ito tapos hindi effective, wala rin, no? Wala rin kwenta. Yun ang sinasabi natin. Or maski piso yan, pero ang problema is yung effectivity is hindi naman effective. So wala rin kwenta. So yun ang more concern ko, no? Na dapat tutukan mabuti. And I think yung mismong Bureau of Animal Industry head dapat magsalita, no? Kung ano ba itong trial na ito, and ito ba is talagang pwede nang gamitin, no? And kasi hindi nagsasalita ang chief ng Bureau of Animal Industry.
Na-trauma na yata siya kay Senator Cynthia Villar nung nasabihan siyang wala kang alam.
Yeah, pero concern, I think doktor siya ng vet. So I think he know about this, no? And we hope na one of these day magsalita siya para at least malaman talaga kung paano ba yung trial ginawa, and ito ba is makakatulong. Kasi kung i-trace natin yung nasa Vietnam, nag-announce ang Vietnam February na gagamitin itong vaccine na ito. Ngayon, May na. Walang update from Vietnam kung anong nangyari dun sa mga trial nila, no? After yung announcement ng February na gagamitin na nila. So ito is 3 months after, no? So dapat malaman natin kung ano bang nangyari dun sa Vietnam.
So kung presyo, whether 400 or 1,000, which is a good point, kung presyo lang ang pag-uusapan, hindi po problemahin na magbababoy yun because yung presyo nga ng biik ngayon, dati ang benta 2,500, ngayon 3,500 to 5,000 na raw. So whether it costs approximately 600 per shot, okay lang yun. But it should really be tested. Now, yung field trials that the BAI has been talking about, is it a one-time, big trial, or meron pa ba raw naka-schedule? Because ikaw nakakaupo doon sa mga meeting eh. Meron pa bang ibang field trials na gagawin doon sa sinasabi mong combat zone for ASF?
Yun ang gusto natin malaman with the Bureau of Animal Industry. Kasi yung trial, nabalita natin na hindi ganun kalaki. Parang less than 50 heads lang. No?
Mhm.
So, i-confirm natin is ilan ba talaga yung trial.
Wait.
Ginawa.
Kasendo, ano sabi mo yung trial covered only how many heads?
Around 50, yun ang balita namin. No? So, gusto natin ma-verify kung yun talaga. And yung trial, hindi sa kasi bali ang problema kasi nitong ASF is dun sa inahin, no? Sa inahin, mostly tinamaan yung mga farm. Yung area na tinatamaan is yung inahin. Kung itong inahin ng baboy is mag-umpisa yung mga anak, bumababa yung immunity ng body ng baboy. So doon natatamaan itong ASF na namamatay. No. So dapat yung testing is dapat dun sa inahin. Ito yata parang tinest dun sa patiner. Na in which ang patiner, alam natin ibebenta yan ng 5 months, no?
Correct.
And hindi rin masyadong effective kung ang testing is makita lang up to 25 days na may antibody. Yun ang sinasabi.
Okay. Well, there, ladies and gentlemen, I'm hoping you are discovering where the problem lies. Rosendo So is talking about where the test should be, what is the population that should be tested, what are the specific types or level or age group of the hogs that should be vaccinated. But because the director of the Bureau of Animal Industry, because the representatives of the Bureau of Animal Industry have adopted a no comment, no talk policy, and then we don't know what's going on. So how can this type of discoveries, these breakthroughs be cascaded to our farmers and hog raisers kung yung mga nasa gobyerno ay pumipiling maging pipi? Okay, so I'm just pointing out, hindi po yun editorial comment, ladies and gentlemen, kasi baka sabihin naman ninyo, bakit puro baka yung sinasabi ni Rosendo? Kasi ayaw po kaming kausapin ng mga tiga-DA. Okay, now, Kasendo, malipat tayo. 2 other topics. One is this case that may or will be filed against Senior Undersecretary Panganiban. Ano ang feeling mo dyan? Seryoso bang sitwasyon yan? Because it all revolves around sugar importations, which the Undersecretary is saying, utos ni Presidente na bigyan namin ng solusyon eh. So parang hiding behind the President ang senaryo dito.
Yeah, parang Cito, kung titingnan mo, no, yung action ni Yusek Panganiban, hindi tama eh. Kasi kung kausap mo ang ating Pangulo, sinabi ng Pangulo sa iyo is gawin mo yung dapat matulungan ng ating sugar industry and yung presyo is hindi ibig sabihin na magpasok na without proper channel na kumuha ng permit, mag-apply yung mga magpapasok para tama yung procedure. Kami, sinabihan din ni Pangulo na yan, okay yan, yung first border, gawin nyo. Pero imagine, up to 1 year, hindi pa rin naumpisahan kasi dapat dumaan sa proseso, di ba?
Mm.
And we think na ang ginawa ni Yusek Panganiban is illegal kasi kung hindi, lahat na lang magpapasok ng sugar, sasabihin ituturo na, si Pangulo nagsabi, pwede magpasok ng sugar. Di ba?
Yeah.
So, we think that yung ginawa ni Yusek Panganiban hindi maganda dahil yung mga nagpasok ng sugar na nandyan na yung vessel, sasabihin lahat na legitimate yan kasi mag-a-apply ako ng permit. That is illegal, no? Shipment na arrive without any permit is illegal.
Para documents to follow. Ano ka, siniswerte. Okay, Kasendo, 1 minute and a half, fast break na lang. Meron kasi ako nasagap na sabi-sabi, okay, but reliable source, na meron daw foreign company na nagtayo ng business dito sa Pilipinas, and ang ginagawa nila, namimili sila maramihan, bulto-bulto ng mais para sa pagdagawa ng animal feeds. Pero yung source ko nagsabi, Kuyang, paki-check mo lang dahil baka i-export yung mais na yan. Hindi gagamitin for local consumption dahil animal feeds daw eh. Parang ginawa niya yung numbers, it does not compute. Bibili mo majority ng corn production sa Pilipinas, pagkatapos dadalhin mo sa planta mo, gagawin mong animal feed, pero hindi naman ganun kalaki yung bibili sa Pilipinas. So, i-export. Meron bang nag-e-export ng mga animal feed company?
So far, Manong Sito, wala pa akong nalaman, no?
Oo.
Pero ipapacheck natin yan dahil yung mga bumibili ng mais, mostly naman is dito sa area ng Pangasinan and Ilocos Norte, La Union area, and isa is yung Isabela and Cagayan. Ito yung mga area
So,
na
wala pang ugong.
area, pero wala pa akong balita as of now.
Okay.
Kung may ginagawa tapos i-export itong corn natin.
Whether processed or raw. Pero pakibantayan nyo na at medyo
Yes.
parang hindi tama. Nangapit bahay sila pagkatapos uubusan tayo ng mga ulam natin sa kusina. Okay, thank you very much, Rosendo So. Maraming salamat sa ginagawa mong paninilbihan sa Pilipino, lalo na sa agriculture. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Manong.
Okay, that's Rosendo So of the Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura or Sinag, and he is also the chairman of the Abono Party List. We are on guard regarding all of the movements in agriculture because if things don't go properly or don't go right, we are going to be very insecure when it comes to food. Okay, let's now go for a quick break. When we return, let's talk about that study, that research that was conducted regarding office rentals in the Philippines. We'll be right back here on Agenda.
Manila is the third most expensive Southeast Asian city when it comes to building office spaces in the post-pandemic era. According to the 2023 Asia report of real estate group Cushman and Wakefield, a lot of companies are investing in technology to support hybrid working. Many of these businesses are also into future-proofing their office spaces, pushing the demand further for smart and high-tech facilities. How does this factor into rates of office rent in the country? Let's find out on today's agenda.
Claro Cordero Jr. is the Director and Head of Research, Consulting, and Advisory Services at Cushman & Wakefield in the Philippines. Aside from being a real estate consultant, Cordero has over 21 years of experience in market research and analysis, financial planning, risk management, among others. He graduated from the Asian Institute of Management, completing the Management Development Program.
Okay, welcome to the program, Claro, and thank you for making time. I know that we kind of had to hustle you out of your schedule for today, but well, I mean, you know, that's what happens when you come out with very informative research. Could you please share that thing? Because apparently, sorry, I've always said to my friends, I'm dyslexic, I'm poor at reading. I focused on the word rental, hindi naman pala rental yung problema. So please correct my mistake.
Okay. Good morning, Cito, and to your viewers. And thank you for inviting us this morning. Well, we came out, Cushman and Wakefield came out with an updated study on office fit-out cost guide. Mm-hmm. So basically, what we mean by office fit-out cost guide is this helps corporate real estate decision makers regarding fit-out, retrofitting, and reinstating office spaces. When you take on a lease, for example, so it covers furniture, professional fees, mechanical and electrical works, audiovisual, even IT and other miscellaneous costs when you occupy a space. So that's essentially covers the entire spectrum of office fit-out costs.
Parang interiors for the
interior.
office. Okay.
Interior for the office, correct. So we've analyzed the movement of fit-out costs across 32 markets in globally. So that includes key markets in Asia Pacific. And what we found out that sa Philippines, we're the third highest in terms of fit-out costs. I think it's a collaboration of a lot of factors. So number one, I think economically speaking, it talks about inflation. So our inflation rate is one of the highest in the region. Plus the fact that a lot of our resources in terms of IT, for example, even furniture, we source a lot of them abroad, so overseas. We procure them overseas. So, for example, if you're in an office, the boss, he wants a very nice, sleek-looking table. Some of them are not available locally, so they have to import it outside. So that contributes to the fit-out cost. Plus, last year we had that supply chain issue. Supply chain means to say, diba, a lot of countries, foremost of which is China, was closed for a good period of time. And so, pag nag-import ka, normally it goes to various port calls. No? So, it's Shanghai, Hong Kong, and other regions. So, bago siya dumating sa Philippines, it goes through a lot of channels. And since they're closed, nagiging matagal yung procurement mo, and that added also to the cost of fitting out your office spaces. So that's what we've identified. We noticed that we're next actually to Jakarta and Malaysia in terms of fit out costs, and then next to us is Singapore. So it looks bizarre,
it's unusual because for the first time we are more expensive than Singapore.
Yes.
So
that explains. I guess that explains the maturity of the market. So the more mature markets, like Singapore and even Thailand, for example, they have much more office markets. They're in the they're in the bottom list. So Singapore number 4, and then number 5 is
Mhm.
Thailand, because their procurement system is more efficient. They are able to source their materials locally. So
Mhm.
I think that contributes to the overall cost. That's why we came out to be more expensive than the others.
Well, one of my clients, who I did some, analysis for his operation. I mean, I'm not at your level, no. Tayo naman more experiential consulting. But during the interview, we discovered, and he pointed this out. Actually, he said
Mm.
he's in the hotel business. And he said, Cito, one of my harshest discovery is that in the Philippines, most of the builder contractors back then, this was pre-COVID, he said they only know how to build condominiums. They don't really understand the structural engineering design requirements of a hotel. Sabi ko, what do you mean? Well, kasi condos don't have crawl spaces. If you need to repair a leak, you have to go to the unit below or above and tell them, sorry, we gotta fix something, because everything is universal. Universal aircon, universal blah, 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 or even in their cable TV. Now, in the fit-out research, did the layout and design of offices play a significant role in making the cost more expensive?
Definitely, Cito. That's one of the factors of the quality of and complexity of design. So the more complex the design, then definitely the higher cost. The example that you put out, no, yung residential versus condo, definitely mas complicated ang design ng office fit ng hotel fit out as compared to residential fit out. That's why when you build a hotel, normally 12 to 18 months is just for fitting out the interior of the hotel. So mas matagal yung construction mo as compared to a condo. It's just basically shell. I mean, you turn over the unit to the owner, to the tenant, as is, no, of course, with basic tiling and all that. But with hotels, it has to have all those complex systems. Now, comparing it to an office setup, no, what we have studied in what we've mentioned in the study, there are now 3 types of fit outs, no, that are identified in the market. So one is basic hybrid. Ibig sabihin, ito yung one-on-one pa rin yung workstations, meron pa rin siyang, but there's some more flexibility as compared to pre-pandemic work styles. No? So before kasi,
Yeah,
diba, when you go to the office,
yeah, you have your own table. You belong to a department or a team, and so you have your own office. Kanya-kanya, you are in
Kanya-kanya.
silos and dedicated workstation. That's my generation. Okay,
That's
and then
correct, yeah.
what's going on now?
Yeah. So, with that, no, a lot of the offices, hindi naman sila automatically nag-shift to hybrid. So, that's why a lot of offices still go on with their usual setup, but with some allocation for flexi working. So, a lot of companies now are advocating for that. No? And then there's now a collaborative hybrid. So, it's a mixture of one-to-one assigned workstation, but meron ka na ring non-assigned work points. So prior to pandemic, a lot of companies are also doing that. We call that agile workstation. So their example, we come into the office, you just bring your laptop, you don't have any, di ba? Tayo, we tend to be sentimental in our office setup. We have the pictures of our families, we have a pot of plants or flowers on our table. In this kind of setup, no more na. Because when you go out, you just take your laptop with you, put them in your lockers, and then the next day you may or may not come into that same table, so somebody else might use that. No, so That's a collaborative hybrid. Now, there's an advanced hybrid where more than 50% of workstations are non-assigned anymore, are non-assigned already. So
Mm.
it relies heavily on technology. So heavy on technology. You have audiovisual connectivity even within the office. No, there's also you allocate a lot of space also for meeting rooms, collaborative spaces. You have breakout rooms for your employees. You have in some offices you also have libraries. You have focus and relaxation areas. Your reception area looks like a hotel. It's more collaborative and accommodative as compared to a strict office, and that contributes to the overall cost. Imagine we said earlier the hotel setup is that specialized and mahal talaga siya. So you put that in an office setting, then that's the reason why now office fit out costs are evolving and are increasing because of that particular
Is
demand.
the fit out or the interior setup or interior design of offices in the Philippines also expensive because we don't really have dedicated fit out suppliers or one stop, because like most consumers now in the Philippines, they'll either go to Mega Mall, to MOA, to Robinsons, or they'll go to IKEA. The richer folks go to IKEA, and so pick and choose ka lang. But for the fit out people, are they stuck with the same situation? Because that would explain why the costs are higher. Kasi in-import ng importer, pinasa sa distributor, sent to regional distributors, retailers. Kumbaga, by the time the fit-out agent gets it or company gets it, they're already paying maybe 20-25% markup.
Higher. That's correct, Cito. So that's one thing. Yun nga, a lot, like what I said earlier, there are certain elements in fit outs that we still import. No? Not just that. No? So even project management and even architectural and project management fees, sometimes it can bring up the level of fit out cost.
Yeah.
For some also, especially for US companies, that thing we call sustainability right now. So ESG, so environmental, social, and corporate governance norms. They also contribute to that particular cost. So the sustainability practices. I want a table, or I want the office to have that particular temperature. So what I'll do is that I will do double walling, or I will employ some kind of cooling system, so that in the end naman you don't spend as much in air condition because mas hindi mainit yung office spaces mo. So I guess it eventually balance out kasi you may have additional expenses or capital expenditures in fitting out, but in the end your utilities can also benefit from it. So medyo mababawasan ka in terms of electrical consumption because your lighting also may be limited because you employ that kind of setup where it's natural lighting in your office space. So yung demand also for sustainability practices can also contribute or also contributes to the increases in fit out costs.
Okay, now your company, could you give us a background? Sorry, that was my bad. We didn't include a background on your company. Can you explain to me what Cushman? What's the complete term? Ba? Cushman and
Cushman and Wakefield.
Wakefield. Ayun, munti ko na sabing Walters eh. Parang Walter Mart. Anyway, Cushman and Wakefield. What is the company all about?
Yeah. Cushman Wakefield is a real estate services company. So whenever I'm asked what is it about, I call it as a company that services real estate from womb to tomb.
Okay.
From conception. So
Mhm.
if you're a builder, if you're a developer, before you even put up a building, you research on something. So you do a feasibility study, a market analysis. So that's what I
Mhm.
do. So I do highest and best use study or development potential, kung ano yung potential ng property mo. Then I'll tell you what is the best the best use for your property, whether it's an office, it's a residential, or a mixed use of sorts. So
Mhm.
we service that. And then when you build eventually your project, so you already have the plan, you think it's feasible, then we also offer the project management, so the construction. So we have that. We have the
Mhm.
project management company that assists in the construction of the building. So if you're an owner, especially siguro nagpagawa tayo ng bahay before, no? Ang hirap
Yeah.
na you talk to each and every one, to the electrician, to the construction, to the mason and all. We offer that kind of service where we act as a middleman for you between all of these suppliers and
Yeah.
contractors. So when you come in, hindi ka na problema. So you just come in, kumusta yung area ko, kumusta yung construction, then I will tell you, Cito, this is the update and this is the progress right now. So we provide that. And then we also provide, after you complete the development, then siyempre ipapa-lease out mo siya, diba? Paparentahan mo, either paparentahan mo or ibebenta mo if it's a residential. So we offer that kind of service also, agency. So we do commercial leasing, capital market transactions, and all that. So we partner even developer with investors and investors with buyers. No? So we do that. And then later on, when you that's why it's called womb to tomb, there's an economic lifespan for your project. So let's say after some time, the project itself, the development itself, is not anymore giving you the best return. So what do you do? So I think again of whether I should redevelop the project. So we come in also to advise you whether it's good to redevelop or to sell it to another investor or buyer. So that's essentially the life cycle of a real estate project. So Cushman and Wakefield offers all of that project, all of those services in the Philippines, from commercial leasing, consulting, and research on my side, facilities management, and project management.
Okay, I can already hear some of our viewers going, Kuyang, please ask Claro, do they help find joint venture investors, capital, etc., for people with real estate? Because there are a lot of families now with still sizable land in the metro and outside of the metro, and they just want, maybe someone put up a row of townhouses or condo, etc.
Yes, we do. We do that, no. So we have our presence in the other markets like US, Singapore, China, Japan. We network, so we establish that connection between the investor from one end to another. So then that's where I come in. I initially brief the investor. There is this particular property that may be worthwhile of your investment money. No, so I tell them, this is the return for this investment. Is that within your appetite? So we do that. We've done that in the past. Cushman and Wakefield has been here for more than 10 years already. And we've partnered investors, partnered them with local developers. Right now we do a lot of matching up, these investors and developers or local players with data centers, no. So if you look at if you're familiar with data centers, ito yung mga machines, no, na parang they compartmentalize all the big data that we have. So because of the advancement in technology,
it's like an emergency back office for certain operations. Like I know one group out of Las Vegas, they've got a data center near our area, and it's like entering Fort Knox.
Yes. Puro machines yan eh, puro racks na na servers. Kasi ikaw as a company, lalo na kung masyado ka ng malaki, no, you relegate that job or that task to the experts. So I think PLDT is one of the biggest players in the country right now. So they offer that kind of service to enterprises. So, but not just PLDT right now, there are a lot of other groups in the in the region that are looking to set up here. So the big guys like maybe Oracle, Amazon. So they are looking to set up offices, data center facilities in
Okay, my last question, Claro, is how do we make it more attractive? Because we all have that problems with fit out, we have problems with interconnectivity, we have problems with the high rate of electricity. What do you often hear as an acceptable incentive from potential clients?
Number one, still, of course, the tax incentives. No? So we still consider that to be one of the most important factor to offer our clients, especially for BPO offices, for BPO companies. Right now, there's a collaboration between DTI, BOI, and PESA. Unlike before, kasi we're all just PESA and all, but now we also have other investment regimes, so investment companies or investment agencies that offer the same set of tax incentives. But apart from that, I think there are other and the other important factors that we think are what we call as soft cost or soft transaction values. No? So these are those that you don't really, it's not the single biggest component when you set up an operation in the Philippines or in the country, but it contributes to your decision. So number one, policies. So government policies, say for example on number one on the incentives, and then other could be economically. The reason also why fit out costs or any costs, for example, are increasing is because of the ballooning inflation. So if the government is able to control that, and we are able to control also the increases in interest rates, no? So I think that will also help out in attracting the locators, and also a lot of security and overall peace and order policies when it comes to procurement, diba? So
I think we're going to have a long list. I need another show for you to be able to roll that out. But we could do that. We could talk about that now that you're now more familiar with the agenda. And I think you got the picture that we are business friendly, we are pro people, and we're here for people to be heard so that government can do something about it. Thank you very much, Claro Cordero, Cushman, and Wakefield, for your time today.
Thank you, Cito.
Okay, and let's now go to our closing blessing for the week, which comes from the book of Isaiah 40, verse 31, and it goes, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." May the Lord renew your strength, refresh your vision, and restore all the dreams that you have had in the past. God bless you. I'm Cito Beltran. Thank you for joining us here on your program, Agenda. And please include us in your prayers, especially Team Agenda. Thank you. Please keep it here on One News.